What's going on? This is Chris Badgett from Lifter LMS, and there was a question from Ken on Twitter, which was a question to SaaS or product entrepreneurs. When a customer gives you feedback about something, what happens next during the conversation? What should your response be? How does the conversation go from there? And I have a lot of ideas on this, and it's just too much to put in a tweet, so I'm going to make a video. And this is definitely an it depends answer. So instead of giving you like a prescriptive thing, I'm going to give you 8 simple rules that I use to navigate this. And the reason I have a lot of thoughts on this is with my software company, we have a focus on product road mapping and developing based on the customer, not the competition. And I saw David Cancel put a heart on this thread somewhere or somebody's response. David over at Drift uses this maxim a lot, and I consider David one of my virtual mentors, even though he doesn't know that. But anyways, that's our approach at Lifter LMS. We focus on the customer, not the competition, kind of head in the sand. So what you're talking about is a golden opportunity, and philosophically, this is what we've built our business around, and this is why we've been able to grow so fast. But it does not mean the customer is always right. So the first simple rule is to focus on the customer, not the competition. The second one is that an acknowledgement that both your business value proposition and the customer request are built on a series of assumptions that are built on top of each other and mental models that expand into whatever the statement is or whatever your product is. So the first thing I try to do if I'm having a conversation with a customer around this is to surface those assumptions. Like, what assumptions are leading to this? This is why some of the other people in the comments have mentioned the 5 whys approach, which is a helpful way of surfacing the underlying assumptions and also having a conversation around your assumptions as to why your product is valuable, what problem it solves, and how it solves it, and so on, can increase the value of the conversation. The third rule is to have a conversation around feature requests in terms of the difference between critical, important, and useful. Most customers or prospects' feature requests they will self-identify them as critical, necessary, but that's not always the case. And you as a product owner and leader can help people identify what is actually critical to getting the job done, to solving the problem that you solve. Because what happens is people sometimes get a little influenced by marketing or seeing what other companies or strategies are becoming popular on the internet, and they think they need that too to be successful, though that might just be a tactic that doesn't really add any value to their situation. So helping have a conversation around critical, important, and useful is really important. The fourth is to not let defensiveness trump intake systems of feature requests. So we actually get a lot of feature requests, probably at least 100 a week. And we have an entire system for intaking those. We have Trello boards where they go, a private one. Once something becomes really trending, we put it on a public one where the voting can happen. And our whole team knows how to deal with feature requests because they come in through social media, they come in through email, they come in through the official feature request form, they come in through conversations. And we have a system around that. If we did not have a system around that, it would be easy to be overwhelmed with the amount of feature requests and desires coming in. So it's a lot easier to get defensive or dig in your heels or I don't have time for this or I'm overwhelmed if you don't have a system to manage it. And if you really value those things, it doesn't mean you're going to implement everything you hear. In fact, we implement maybe 5% of what we hear, but you have to have a system to manage all that. The other thing is business is a conversation and deserves respect. It's a human-to-human interaction. So it's okay to be defensive and defend on a philosophy that is a big part of your business and your values. But it's a human conversation. So listening and creating the space for someone who's taken the effort to reach out through the internet in some way to invest their personal time to give you feedback deserves a lot of respect. So that's just very important because it's really easy for a founder to get into a myopic, like, I know what the market needs, I'm the guru, I'm going to, do all this and not give that prospect or that customer the human to human respect that they really deserve. The other thing is to ask open-ended questions to uncover the assumptions, motivations, and values. So once you give the respect, it's important to ask a lot of clarifying questions about, is this a critical thing? Is this important? Or is this a useful, nice to have thing that doesn't really matter? Is like why. There's been comment on this thread about the 5 whys approach to kind of surface like the motivations under there. And motivation is critical. And does it really serve the primary purpose of your software? Or is somebody just getting really distracted on a tactic or something that's really popular in whatever social or meme thing that's going on in the marketing or business community? The other thing is, this is number 7, almost done, is to understand your primary value and have a conversation around that. So let me give you an example. So for example, at Lifter LMS, we have a online course, learning management system software. If you have a training-based membership site, that's what we do. So our core primary value, it is to make the platform owners or the course creators successful, but our actual primary value is to help their customer, so our customer's customer, learn and experience some kind of transformation. So when we're getting feature requests in, I understand that as the primary value. So if we're talking about something, the critical things have to do with creating courses and membership sites that actually work, that actually deliver results, even in challenging conditions for our customer's customer. So for example, if a feature request comes in about some complex like marketing funnel thing to help get more sales, that is not our primary value. It's important, sales are important, and some of those things are helpful, but the primary value is creating a learning experience that actually works and actually delivers results. So those feature requests about higher student success rates and better feedback and interaction between the leader and the learner, that's our primary value. So those things, because I understand that the best marketing is a good product in the LMS space, the best product actually works and delivers results to people. That's where our like really core focus is. So having a conversation around that and understanding our primary value is super helpful in kind of couching the conversation in a in a prioritization schema to kind of help navigate and help surface the best ideas. So in a mastermind context, I'm a big masterminder. I love it. I'm part of a lot of masterminds. Most of my business growth has come from masterminds. So I kind of understand from my experience, like the primary value of a mastermind and developing that hive mind and really putting the energy on features that like support that and facilitate that and remove friction around that. That is a primary value. So having a conversation around that with the inbound feature request can help kind of differentiate what's critical, what's important, and what might just be a nice to have useful feature. And the last one is to be grateful and navigate expectations. So if someone took the time to like give you some feedback, even if it's negative, it's important to thank them for that, but then also navigate expectations, because what invariably happens is when people give a feature request, and especially if you're doing what I'm talking about and you're being really open and receptive and listening and asking clarifying questions, they're going to feel really heard, and they may get frustrated a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months later if they don't see what you talked about in your conversation fruit into reality. And there might be a lot of reasons for that. Maybe your product roadmap's already jammed up with a lot of other things. Maybe you heard them, but their stuff is not critical and they didn't necessarily walk away from the conversation realizing that. So it's important to upfront navigate what's going to happen here. So the way we do that is we explain, first we thank them, then we explain how our process works. We explain how we're looking for trends. We ask them to like engage with our community and see if there's more need and more conversation around that. We'll post about it in our community. And we let them know how, what our backlog's like and kind of like what our current priorities are, just to kind of manage expectations. And because we have a system behind all this, whether that came in through social media, came in through email, came in through a conversation, when these come in and they get cataloged in our Trello boards, if we do end up rolling out the solution, like after like 20, 30, 500 people like raise their hand and be like, this is critical to helping people learn better, faster, and with more reliability. When we roll that out, then we do a lot of direct one-on-one outreach to those people through the channel that they reached out on. And that creates incredible goodwill and spreads that new kind of marketing release like with a lot of gasoline on the fire. So I hope you find that useful. Embrace the feature requests. Thanks for asking my opinion on that. And to any entrepreneur watching about this, focusing on the customer, not the competition, and figuring out how to do that in a respectful, high-value way is really key. It's been probably the #1 driver of the success in our business. So thank you very much for the great question, Ken, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.